So I'm sitting here in my bed with my knee propped up on a pillow because this morning I was at the gym and I was lifting and I pulled the bar up. I was doing a clean, and as I landed wrong. My knee moved sideways and I experienced, I won't say the most excruciating pain I've ever had, because I did experience worse pain when I tore my ACL a couple years ago, but it was probably the worst pain since then. And so I've been laying in bed all morning, and I realized that there's something that I can learn and something I want to share with you about our limiting beliefs. The I guess the mental blocks sometimes we have in our businesses, in our personal lives, in our family lives, in church life, that keep us from achieving the things that we want. And quite honestly, these limiting beliefs are there to protect us. So I want to share with you what I learned from this morning. And the computer's probably going to move a little bit because it's sitting on my legs. And like I said, I'm sitting in my bed as I record this real quick. But so this morning, my knee went sideways. I immediately dropped the weight. I immediately hopped a couple times and went straight to the floor. I was pounding the floor because the pain was so intense. And I laid there and I was moving my knee to keep circulation flowing, um, keep the inflammation down. And while I was laying there, I actually ended up fainting. And my trainer and I were talking about it, and we realized after looking up some stuff, and this has happened to me before when I've had extreme pain. As a matter of fact, when I tore my ACL, I almost passed out. And we looked it up, and it's a thing they say it's about the most common reason that people faint, and it's called, I think, vasovagal syncope. And syncope is like when you lose consciousness. And vasovagal, it's the vagus nerve. And essentially what happens is when you have extreme pain, or there's a lot of other things that cause it, but in this case, it was extreme pain. When you have extreme pain, the blood vessels in your legs expand, and it causes your blood pressure and your heart rate to drop. And that causes you to pass out. So I passed out for, I don't know, 5 or 10 seconds, and I was fine. I felt fine, 30 seconds later. But I've just been really tired ever since. But the reason I share that with you is because this has happened to me before at the gym, not passing out, but tweaking my knee ever since my ACL. And it's interesting because the first few times it happened after I started working out, because I started working out 6 or 7 months after I tore my ACL. The first few times, it would be, when it happened, it would cause me to not be able to do anything for a few weeks. And then it's slowly gotten better, and it's the same, it's close to the same pain every single time. And I do it, I don't know, every few months I'll twist it or tweak it or just step wrong, and it feels massively painful. And then I'm just fine a day or two later. And as I've been talking with my trainer about this, what I realized, or what he shared with me, was that it's not so much that I'm hurting my knee again. It's more so that the muscle memory and my mind remember the pain of when I tore my ACL. And essentially what's happening is, when my knee moves sideways, it's so worried that something's going to happen that it clenches all of my muscles and just tightens them all up to keep me from hurting myself again. It's protecting my knee. It's saying, oh no, the last time this happened, we tore our ACL, we bruised our MCL, we had a bone bruise, and so we don't want that to happen again. It thinks it's doing a good thing. It thinks it's protecting itself, but what it's actually doing is that protection is causing me a ton of pain in the short term, and it's keeping me from doing what I want to do. And I share that with you because in our businesses, in our lives, we all have limiting beliefs that do the exact same thing. Our limiting beliefs are there to protect us. Like, our mind has this idea that, there's something that we need to be protected from. And so what it does is it keeps us from doing what we want to do in order to protect us from what we think might happen. And just like with my knee, what my body and my mind think is going to happen is how do I put this? What could happen is never as bad as my mind thinks it could. In my mind, it's, you're going to tear your ACL. You're going to do the exact same thing. It was miserable. You were on crutches for weeks. You couldn't hardly walk, and we don't want that to happen again. So we're going to clench and tighten all the muscles to protect that knee when something happens where it's that same kind of movement. And likewise, with our limiting beliefs, it keeps us from going where we want to. And our limiting beliefs manifest themselves in many ways. And yours might be different than mine. They probably are. But regardless of what your limiting beliefs are, what you think might happen is almost always worse than what actually will happen. And so your mind is trying to protect yourself from that worst case scenario. It's really, one of the things that my trainer said this morning was my passing out was a fight or flight response. And our limiting beliefs are very much the same way. It's to protect us. It's from those times when, we think that we are going to be in serious harm. And so that's why our limiting beliefs, those fears, those concerns, those things that we worry about in our businesses, in our family life, in our church life, whatever it is, those responses are there and they're well-meaning. Our bodies create them, our mind creates them to protect us from something they think is going to happen. So whatever those limiting beliefs are, they can completely incapacitate us because our mind's trying to protect us. But the fact of the matter is, when we identify what those beliefs are and when we address them and we push through them and we learn how to address them and we think through them and say, okay, it's not as bad as our mind thinks it's going to be. We talk, we think through what the worst case scenario is. We think through why we feel like that could possibly happen. When we do that, it opens up an amazing amount of possibilities for us. And for me with my knee, what that's been is recognizing that no significant damage was done when this happens, and I'm just going to be in pain for a day or two, and then I'll be okay. It's allowed me to continue pushing, and it's allowed me to continue improving, my physical fitness and my health, and all the things that I'm able to do. And likewise, as I've worked on overcoming those limiting beliefs I have with regards to my personal life, my professional life, all of those things, it's allowed me to achieve greater success. And so my encouragement to you is, especially in this time of year, as many of us are thinking about and pondering on goals for the next year, what we want to accomplish in our businesses, how we want to, what success we want to experience, be on the lookout for those limiting beliefs. Be on the lookout for those things that we worry about, that maybe we, unreasonably worry about, because those are our limiting beliefs. And if you can pinpoint where those limiting beliefs are, you can address them, and then you can you can recognize that there's not the pain that you think there's going to be. There's not the negative consequence that you think there's going to be. And when you realize that, then you can move forward and achieve those things. I can tell you there's been limiting beliefs in my life that have kept me back for years and years. There's limiting beliefs I'm still working on. But my encouragement to you is to identify what those are. Ask yourself, where are the places that I always just seem to not quite get to where I want to go? Where are the places that always seems like I'm right there and then I don't quite make it? Whether that's an income goal, whether that's, an amount of, employees, or a number of clients, or whatever it is there some sort of belief deep down in your mind that's keeping you from breaking through that level, whatever it is? One of the ways I see this happen a lot is speaking in church. And some people are terrified of speaking in church, and it can manifest itself as getting sick, getting migraines, all of these things, because it's our body's defense mechanism. We're so worried about something about that our body protects us from it. So I'm going to keep resting, but I had that thought and I wanted to share it with you. That my knee taught me something today, and the pain that I'm in sitting in bed here. I'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm actually going to get up and start moving around here right after I get done. But I want to share that with you because our limiting beliefs are there to protect us, and our mind thinks it's protecting us by instituting those beliefs. But when we realize that no harm can be done, that no harm is being done by pushing through those limiting beliefs, we can achieve the success that we've been trying to achieve. So I hope you have a great week. Make sure, if you haven't yet, that you follow the Latter-day Saints Business Owners page. It's a community where you and I, as members of the church and business owners, can connect and support each other and learn. And there's going to be lots of opportunities for us to connect and support each other there. So make sure you like this page if it's something that you found valuable, and if you are a Latter-day Saint business owner. And we will talk to you soon. Have a great day.